Imagine this. You land at Changi Airport, greeted by women who look like they just stepped out of a skincare commercial. Then you land at Narita, and, how do I put this politely, suddenly it feels like you've skipped to the before part of the ad. Oops, don't click away yet, because today we're digging into the brutal truth. Why Japanese women and Singaporean women seem to live on completely different planets, even though both countries sit just a few hours apart on the same map. Now, before the angry commenters attack me with chopsticks or kaya toast, let me clarify. This is not about individual beauty. It's about the system. Why do Japanese women seem to burn out after 30, while Singaporean women somehow keep glowing even as they juggle kids, careers, and CPF contributions? And why does the gap only get wider the older they get? Here's the thing. The answer isn't just in cosmetics or genetics. It's in society, economics, diet, culture, and, yes, those awkward expectations that turn women into either eternal kawaii dolls or hyper-efficient CEOs in heels. And trust me, once you hear this breakdown, you'll never look at either group the same way again. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll not only understand the brutal truth, you'll probably want to smash that comment button and argue about it. Ready? Let's go. If you ever want to understand why Japanese women and Singaporean women turn out so differently, you need to rewind the tape all the way back to childhood. Because trust me, this isn't just about mascara and moisturizer. It's about what each society programs into their girls from day one. In Japan, little girls are told, be cute, stay quiet, and never outshine the men. From kindergarten, it's already about learning how to bow correctly, laugh politely, and serve tea like a professional geisha in training. Cute pencil cases, mandatory, shy giggling, practically a subject on the syllabus. If you're loud, ambitious, or heaven forbid, opinionated, teachers and parents will gently nudge you back into line with the subtle message, sweetheart, Japan doesn't like women who think too much. Now jump over to Singapore. The story is completely different. Little girls there are basically told, study hard or end up broke, la. Cute. Optional. Quiet. Forget it. Singaporean kids grow up in a system where competition is brutal. Tuition centres are practically a religion, and being smart is not just encouraged, it's survival. By the time a Singaporean girl hits 12, she's not thinking about how to smile cutely in group photos. She's already calculating PSLE scores and plotting which JC or Poly will catapult her into a career that actually pays. And here's where the divergence happens. While Japanese girls are mastering the art of kawaii helplessness, Singaporean girls are mastering Excel spreadsheets. By their 20s, Japanese women are praised for looking like anime characters, while Singaporean women are praised for buying their first condo before you can even spell CPF. So when you meet them later in life, you're not comparing apples to apples. You're comparing one group raised to be eternally youthful accessories and another raised to be high-functioning, financially independent women. And honestly, is it really any surprise which group seems to hold up better in the long run? Education is where the gulf between Japanese and Singaporean women really starts to look like a cosmic joke. On paper, both countries have world-class education systems, but in practice, Japan still treats women's degrees like decorative wallpaper, while Singapore treats women's degrees like weapons of survival. Let's start with Japan. Yes, Japanese women can go to university. Yes, they can even get into prestigious schools. But the unspoken social contract is this: congratulations on your degree. Now please use it to find a nice husband and retire gracefully into the kitchen. A Japanese woman could graduate top of her class at Tokyo University, but if she tells her boss she wants to pursue a career instead of making photocopies and tea, people look at her like she just announced she wants to be the next shogun. The glass ceiling in Japan isn't even glass. It's concrete, reinforced with samurai steel. Now, let's hop over to Singapore. Over there, women don't just study for fun. They study because the system demands blood, sweat, and a second mortgage to pay for tuition classes. And when they graduate, oh, they don't settle for pouring tea. They're gunning for banking jobs, tech firms, government scholarships, the works. Singaporean women are expected to carry their weight financially, and spoiler alert, many of them do it better than the men. The result? By 30, the average Japanese woman is either a housewife, a temp worker, or stuck in an office role with no promotion in sight. Meanwhile, the average Singaporean woman is climbing corporate ladders, buying HDB flats, and sometimes even supporting her entire extended family. And let's be brutally honest here. The career ladder a Singaporean woman climbs is made of steel, while the one a Japanese woman faces is made of bamboo. It looks sturdy, but the moment you put real weight on it, it snaps. So when people say Singaporean women look more confident, it's not just the eyeliner. It's the fact that behind that eyeliner is a law degree, an MBA, and a job at DBS Bank. Here's where things get spicy, because nothing exposes the cultural gulf between Japan and Singapore faster than how each society defines beauty. And spoiler alert, Japan has locked its women inside a pink, frilly kawaii prison, while Singapore handed its women a passport to cosmopolitan confidence. In Japan, beauty means one thing: eternal youth. Big eyes, pale skin, soft voice, and, most importantly, an aura of helplessness that screams, "Please save me, senpai." A 29-year-old Japanese woman who doesn't look like she's stuck in permanent high school mode is treated like she's failing at femininity. Wrinkles? That's social suicide. A bald haircut? Scandalous. Muscles? Forget it. Japanese women are basically told that once they stop looking like anime characters, society will treat them as expired goods. And guess what? Many internalize it. That's why you see hordes of 30-something women still dressing like Sailor Moon knockoffs, hoping the Kawaii Act buys them a few more years of relevance. Now shift your gaze to Singapore. Do you see Singaporean women clinging to childish cuteness? Nope. They've got no time for that nonsense. Beauty there isn't about looking fragile, it's about looking polished, sharp, and put together. Think professional makeup, fitness classes, glowing skin, and fashion that says, I can close a deal at 10 a.m. and still look hot at dinner. Instead of trying to appear 18 forever, Singaporean women lean into the cosmopolitan vibe. Confidence is beauty. Here's the punchline. Japanese women spend their prime years trying not to age, while Singaporean women spend theirs trying not to fall behind. One is running on the hamster wheel of kawaii culture. The other is sprinting on the treadmill of ambition. And when you look at the outcomes, the kawaii wheel leads straight into burnout and invisibility after 30, while the treadmill, brutal as it is, often leaves Singaporean women looking sharper, fitter, and more confident well into their 40s. So next time someone says Japanese women are cuter, ask them if they also prefer expired milk. Because Singaporean women, they're more like fine wine, only getting stronger with age. If you want to see the real fork in the road between Japanese women and Singaporean women, just look at what happens after marriage. This is where Japan's kawaii dream turns into a full-blown nightmare. In Japan, marriage is basically a one-way ticket into the domestic trap. Forget your degree, forget your career, forget your personal freedom, because once you say I do, society expects you to transform into a full-time housewife, unpaid nanny, and maybe part-time daughter-in-law caretaker. And the kicker, you're supposed to smile while doing it. Japanese men? Oh, they'll stay at the office until midnight, drinking beer with colleagues while their wives juggle kids, laundry, cooking, and aging in-laws. It's not marriage. It's indentured servitude with a kimono. Now let's contrast that with Singapore. Is it perfect? Of course not. But the vibe is totally different. In Singapore, women don't automatically become housebound martyrs after tying the knot. Why? Because two incomes are almost a requirement to survive the city's sky-high costs. So what happens? Marriage becomes more of a partnership. Husband and wife both work, both contribute, and both share responsibility. Well, in theory at least. Sure, some Singaporean men still think their wives should cook after working a 12-hour day, but the system itself recognizes women as economic players, not decorative ornaments. The result? Japanese women often disappear into the shadows once they marry, while Singaporean women remain visible, still working, still building careers, still attending yoga classes, still looking like they have a life. It's the difference between being locked in a tatami cage and living in a high-rise with a shared mortgage. And here's the brutal truth. By their mid-30s, many Japanese women look exhausted, worn down by one-sided marriages. Singaporean women, while tired from work, still carry that sense of financial independence and control. One is a prisoner of outdated gender roles. The other, at least, is a co-pilot in the household. So, yes, when it comes to marriage, Japan offers a trap. Singapore, a deal. And trust me, most viewers know which one they'd rather sign up for. Here's where the contrast turns brutal. Because if Japanese women in their 20s win the cute factor lottery, by the time they hit their 40s, the bill comes due, and it's not pretty. Meanwhile, Singaporean women seem to have mastered the art of reinvention, as if they got a secret government-issued manual called How Not to Look Like Yesterday's News. In Japan, the cultural obsession with youth is so suffocating that once a woman passes 30, society treats her like she's expired tofu. Wrinkles, a tragedy, weight gain, scandalous, short haircut. People whisper that she's given up. And it's not just the looks, it's the system. Japanese women who quit careers for marriage often find themselves trapped, with no real financial independence, no reinvention opportunities, and no social respect past their prime. The tragedy? Many of them look and feel older than they are, because life in Japan demands they fade into the background the moment they stop being kawaii. Now let's look at Singapore. Women there don't play the youth forever game. Instead, they adapt. Sure, Singaporean women may stress over aging too, but the culture allows, actually encourages, reinvention. Turning 40, time to get a new haircut, join a gym, pick up Pilates, maybe even start a side business. Financial independence means they can afford skincare, travel, and health routines that keep them looking polished well into their 50s and 60s. And because society doesn't discard them the moment they hit a certain age, they're visible, whether in boardrooms, cafes, or even parliament. It's the ultimate irony. Japan, a country famous for its longevity, makes its women age faster socially. Singapore, a nation obsessed with productivity, lets its women keep evolving. By 50, the Japanese woman is invisible in her own society, while the Singaporean woman is still negotiating, networking, and looking sharp enough to run circles around her male colleagues. So here's the brutal truth. Japan ages its women like fruit left on the counter, while Singapore ages its women like wine carefully stored in a cellar. Guess which one people line up to pay top dollar for? Here's the funny thing. Outside Asia, Japanese women are idolized as delicate cherry blossoms, while Singaporean women are respected as global professionals. Two stereotypes, two realities, and neither is accidental. Let's start with Japan. Western men in particular love to romanticize Japanese women. They picture quiet, obedient, soft-spoken creatures who bow politely and cook miso soup while whispering arigato. Hollywood didn't help, of course. Thanks to movies and anime, Japanese women are frozen in global imagination as submissive dolls with big eyes and soft voices. The reality? Most Japanese women are overworked, underappreciated, and trapped in roles they didn't sign up for. But hey, the fantasy sells. So the world keeps consuming the kawaii dream, blissfully ignoring the burnout behind the curtain. Now shift to Singapore. Singaporean women don't inspire doe-eyed fantasies, they inspire respect. You'll see them commanding boardrooms, running startups, or standing in parliament. They speak English fluently, debate fiercely, and are unapologetically assertive. For some fragile egos, that's intimidating. But globally, it translates into credibility. Singaporean women are viewed as equals, partners in business, politics, and life. And while no one's writing sappy anime about them, they're the ones actually shaping economies and policies. Here's the kicker. Japan exports fantasy. Singapore exports reality. Japan gives the world geishas, kawaii idols, and mystery Asian beauty cliches. Singapore gives the world bankers, diplomats, surgeons, and CEOs. One is entertainment, the other is power. And when push comes to shove, which group gets real influence on the global stage? Exactly. So while Japanese women are endlessly romanticized, it's the Singaporean women who are quietly rewriting what it means to be Asian, female, and powerful. In short, the world may dream of Japan's women, but it listens to Singapore's. So here we are, Japan versus Singapore. On one side, women raised to be kawaii dolls, praised until their 30s, then quietly discarded like last season's anime merch. On the other side, women raised to be survivors, CEOs, and powerhouses who only seem to level up with age. This isn't just about lipstick, skincare, or fashion, it's about systems. Japan polishes women like pearls only to lock them in shells, while Singapore throws its women into the furnace of competition, and out comes steel. Different outcomes, different futures, and the contrast couldn't be more brutal. Now, here's the real question for you. Which would you choose? The fantasy of eternal cuteness, or the reality of lifelong respect? Do you admire the Japanese woman who is romanticized but often invisible in her own society? Or the Singaporean woman who may intimidate you, but stands tall on the world stage? And let's be honest, this isn't just about them, it's about you. If you had to live as a woman in either system, which life would you pick? The dollhouse or the skyscraper? Drop your answer below, because I already know this will divide the comments like sushi versus kaya toast. And if you don't comment, well, maybe you're too scared to admit which side you'd really pick.